Thank you. So, hi everyone. Once again, my name is Wisdom Njinu. I'm the founder and the president of the White Start, which is a registered youth-led organization in Ghana. We are based in Accra here. We are made up of youth professionals from different professional backgrounds. So, we try to implement solutions on the air. That is our motto. And any issues that is pressing one in our society, we try to bring people on board to actually try to address that particular issue. So today's webinar is going to be a fantastic one. It's actually about women and girls empowerment. So I'm glad to have all of you join. So just as I earlier on said, this is just an hour event, and I'm glad to host these amazing personalities to come and have this chat with women and girls so that they'll be empowered, inspired, and also try to attain higher heights in our society. So before I proceed on, I would like to say that if you have any question or anything that you want to put in it, you want us to hear, or any question, you can please feel free to use the chat box for questions, and my brother Maxwell, who is the vice president of the White Start, will read it out to any particular person that the question has been directed to answer. So before I proceed, I would like to welcome my amazing speakers. So I would like to start with Fabiola Thomas, who is Global Director for Caribbean and also Central American at SDG Youth Connect. She's from Haiti, but now based in the USA. She's also the CSW70 delegate, which is Commission on the Status of Women 70. She is a delegate. And I'm also glad to introduce my sister Justice After, who is the founder and CEO of Araba Foundation International. She's also a girls' education and rural inclusion advocate. She's also a New York Times feature, and also part of, also a delegate of the CSW70. She's also a delegate. So they are all here to let us know more about what went on, what transpired in there, to encourage and to also inspire other leaders or other young ladies to also be dynamic people in our society. I also have Rahina Tuna Alhassan, who is the University of Cape Coast SRC Women's Commissioner. Welcome, Rahina. And I also have Mavis Enin, who is the KNUST SRC and Local News Women's Commissioner. I also have Yasmin Yamba, who is also University of Ghana SRC Women's Commissioner. So I'm glad to have you all join this amazing webinar. And just as I said, Fabiola and Joyce are going to engage us with what actually took place in the CS, which is Commission on the Status of Women 70, what actually happened in there. They are coming to let us know what actually happened when they encountered global leaders and advocates and these policymakers, and had other and they engaged themselves in other important amazing meetings, and whatever that happened there, I come to share to inspire young ladies all over the world. So thank you very much for having you. So I'll proceed of inviting my dear sister Joyce Arthur. So Joyce, it is my pleasure to introduce you to begin our amazing webinar. So thank you, Joyce. The floor is yours.
So thank you so much, Wisdom, for this opportunity. Like, I do not take it lightly, and I appreciate all the amazing work that are doing in Africa, in young people, putting this webinar together to ensure that we are talking about very important stuff, right? So fortunately or unfortunately, I have other engagements, so I might not be able to stay throughout all the presentations to take questions. So if in the course of the presentation, I think I would open it up for a few questions. So feel free and then ask me any question that you may have. So Wisdom has done a beautiful work by introducing me, telling you who I am. And I have the honor of being a delegate for this year's Commission on the Status of Women. So those of you who may not know what it is about, Commission on the Status of Women is the global gathering of global leaders all over the world who come to discuss about women. How far are we going with women empowerment, with gender equality? So it's all about women. Yeah, we talk about women here and there. And this year, I think I would say my experience was a mixed feeling, right? When I was going there, I was going there with a lot of expectations, like 70 years. I was expecting to hear about, all the major wins, the progress, and the future, what holds for us in women empowerment. However, the experience was quite different. That even though we spoke about the progress, the successes that we've shown, but most of the conversations was around defending why women empowerment in the first place, and trying to even defend why we are doing all this, right? And this is as a result of the current global backlash that we are facing when it comes to women empowerment. And I'm going to talk about all these during my presentation. So that was it. So here is how my experience was. That, so in summary, that is how my experience was. But now let us go ahead to break it down. This year's theme was enhancing access to justice for women and girls and eliminating all discriminatory laws against women and girls. Yeah, I think that was what the theme was about. So at the CSW70, before I go ahead to talk about what made me unhappy, let me talk about the good parts, right? I was very much excited to see increase in women's participation, because over there, about 92% of the people who came, the 5,000 and over of the global leaders who came there were women. So we saw women in parliament, women presidents, women leading NGOs and all that. And to me, that was very much exciting for me, because we all know the history of women's participation. So now seeing a lot of women in that gathering, for me, it was a plus. Another thing that I also observed is that for this year, for the first time, we had a woman chairing the Commission on the Status of Women, because all those 69 years that it has been held, it's been chaired by a man. But for this year, it was a woman. And for this year, so I know it's a campaign that has been going on for years. This year, we are going to elect a secretary general, right? And like all these years, we've never had a woman become a secretary general. A UN, an agency that is responsible for women empowerment, like one of their mandates is to empower women, has never had a woman as a secretary general. So like, just look at how that implies, right? So it's been launched for a long time, but this year it was more intense, which was the 1 for 8 Men campaign for a woman to become a UN Secretary General. So let's all hope, hopefully it becomes possible. So currently it's been announced that there are 4 candidates, 2 are women and 2 are men. So over there was more push for the woman, like how we are going to, because this is politics, right? So how the women themselves who are in politics, how when we go back, we can push for member states to vote for a woman to be general secretary this year. They are going to hold the election this year. And I was also very happy to see that the assistant to the UN General, Antonio Guterres, I'm always unable to pronounce the last name, is a woman, right? So her assistant is a woman. I was very much excited to see that. And I've already said it, there are so many women in politics, especially in Africa. Namibia, over 50% of the women in leadership, in parliament, in all the political positions are women. In Tanzania, we see a woman as a president. I mean, all these things are very much, very, very important. And we also saw more commitment and then more declarations. We saw countries talk about, more efforts. Like some are saying we are going to expand access to girls' education. Some are saying we are going to expand, financial literacy for women, financial support for women. We are going to increase the help for women. So we saw a lot of people having such conversations, which to me, they were very good. However, what's the current reality which we are talking about, we are going to talk about, is the global backlash. So I want to lay it on the ground that some people, usually a lot of people feel that, oh, we have achieved gender equality. There are a lot of women empowered, but they don't know that what they see are just like half of the women who are empowered. There are lots of women out there who are still facing the issues, the problems that even brought about this whole women empowerment. There are a lot of women who are facing it, and we are going to talk about it. So currently, there is global backlash. Global backlash is simply the push against gender equality. Now, there are people who are saying gender equality is an ideology, like it is just somewhere, like it's not important. Why should we empower women? Why should we worry ourselves to bring in policy to make sure there is gender equality and all that? So that is the global backlash. Now, this global backlash that we are currently facing has brought so many consequences. One of them is that there is a rollback of policy and the legal frameworks. There are countries that are currently reversing and are even thinking of reversing all the efforts that they made towards gender equality. So, for instance, those of you who are into geopolitics, like we can hear of Trump's administration that has cut down funding for DEI. DEI is like the diversity, equity, and inclusion, and it was working towards, making sure that a lot of women are empowered and all that. So they've removed that office, and he has also the removal of the USA aid. USA, a part of it was taking care of education for girls. A part of it was taking care of sexual and reproductive health and rights for women. A part of it was catering for HIV prevention, even though some of them were for both men and women. But removing of it, the vulnerable groups who are being affected by all this as women. So we see that policy. And also in a country like, I've forgotten the country, I think either in Hungary or Portland or one of them, they have enacted a policy against abortion. I know that is something that is still debatable, though. There are a lot of countries that do not subscribe to that, right? That a woman does not have the right to own her body, to decide on whatever that she wants to do. If, let's say, something unexpected like teenage unwanted pregnancy happen, you don't have the right to take it out. You don't have the right to your body. There are a lot of countries that are removing programs that were giving sexual and reproductive health and rights education. We call it SRHR. So SRHR, when you are introduced to that program, you get to understand your body, you get to understand your menstruation, you get to understand contraceptives, basically just to help you plan your life when you want to give birth, when you don't want to give birth, and then all that. Most of these programs, they are reverting all of them back because all these things were empowering women, but they are taking it all back. And this global backlash too has led to majority of the countries holding on to their culture, human rights. So like the culture is surpassing human rights. Now, culture preservers, I'm a very big fan of culture. However, some culture are harmful. For instance, in Afghanistan, it's a culture that a girl cannot go to senior high school and university. It is a human right. Now, because of global backlash, like they are putting, I believe you all can hear me, right?
Sure,
can you hear me?
You. Please proceed. Yes,
Thank you
please,
very much.
We can hear you.
Yes, thank you very much. So now, because of in Afghanistan, like as I said, if you are a girl, the culture says you cannot go to senior high school and university. If you are a girl, if you are stepping out, you should be accompanied by a chaperone, which is a man, right? So meaning as a woman, just because you are a woman, you cannot achieve your dreams. You can't go to school. If you don't go to SHS and university, then it means what are you pursuing in life? You can't discover yourself. If you want to go out, there should be somebody. So meaning that if you are a woman, there should always be someone protecting you, and that limits your freedom of movement. And I've spoken about the cutting down of funding. The cutting down of funding, same way we can talk about the USAID, which used to fund most projects in Africa, especially education. They've decided to reduce their budget for international aid, meaning I think 2020, it's going to take effect either in 2027, yeah, in 2027, it's going to take effect, where some countries like Ghana, for instance, we are not going to get a lot of funding for most. And I'm even currently writing an article about it on how this is really going to impact access to education in Ghana and the rest of Africa, especially for girls. So these are some of the global backlash that so over there, these were some of the conversations that were going on. And it will shock you that no country has achieved gender equality. As at now, no country has achieved gender equality. And it's even been said in 2030, no country is going to achieve gender equality. And it was also said that women enjoy 64% of the rights that everyone enjoys, which is men, whoever, but like the 100% of the right that others enjoy, including men, there are only 64% of those rights that are enjoyed by them, which is very much injustice. So women do not receive equal pay for a job that they are doing with the same command because they are women. Some who are not being hired to occupy certain positions like the director, whatever, just because they are women, right? So all these were the issues. Now, let me quickly run us through um, why women empowerment has been over there was discussed. Why it look as if, I mean, there has been so many money that has been. And before I move on to that, the UN has decided to merge the UN Women and UNFPA. So UN Women is the body responsible for women's stuff. The UNFPA also does a little of gender equality, but they are more into sexual and reproductive health and rights. They decided to merge them because of the cutting down of funding from the US and other superpowers, right? So that is really going to be a disadvantage. Imagine we don't have UN Women anymore. Which body is going to be hosting the CSW? I can only imagine how it's going to be like, but let us anticipate. So just know that there's going to be a big down of funding because these two organizations are going to be merged. So one of them definitely will be cut off. Yeah. So these are why women empowerment have been so, we've done, but we've not really gotten there yet. It's the weak systems structure. Most of the systems structures that are put in place are very weak. When you come to a country like Africa, there are policies, programs, every issue that you can think of, you under the sun, every problem that you have thought of, there is a policy and program hidden somewhere in a constitution that is supposed to address that. However, all these things have been very ineffective because of the weak systems and in the structures, right? Most of the women do not know their rights. How can you assess the rights if you don't even know the right? When you go to the villages, most women do not know that there is a policy that is supposed to, they are supposed to protect them from gender-based violence. There is a policy that is supposed to ensure they go to school. There is a policy that is, they don't even know. So how can they assess it? So that is also a challenge. There are also underfunded institutions, especially in Africa. I know Africa, whenever we are talking about problems, the number one thing is institutions, but they don't know that it is our own poor leadership that is causing us not to have money. But most of the institutions are not funded. And also the cultural and social biases. Like I know culture supersedes everything, right? Most of us grew in a culture, we were trained in culture. So some of these cultures still exist. I already mentioned some of them. So wrapping up, from commitment to local actions, what could be done, right? So as a delegate, this was some of the things that I could pick up from all these discussions is we need to strengthen our local systems. The systems that we have locally, they are very weak. I already mentioned them. Sometimes people say that, oh, maybe we need new policies. We don't need new policies. There are existing policies on paper that some of them need refinement, that some of them need the funding. We need to make sure that all the institutions that work are given full authority. Imagine in Ghana, a man due child for a daughter for 10 years. You take the person to prison and the family come and say, let us go and settle it in home. You can't do this in the Western world. If the law catches you, you are going to go to jail. But in Africa, we have that flexibility. The systems do not have the. So if a family says, I want to settle it home, they take the issue home. At the end of the day, justice is not served. Most of them, because of politics. Now, if they want to do something in Ghana, sorry, I always mention Ghana. In most of the African countries, because Ghana, we are doing well, but in most of the African countries, politics, corruption, all of these things supersede the laws. So we need to make sure that we are giving those systems the authority to work. We need to do a lot of community awareness. If you are a CSO here, an NGO here, this is where we need everybody here. For instance, Araba Foundation International, we are into girls' education, we are into menstrual health. So as they are cutting down the funds, at least what we can also do as a CSO to make sure we are still providing these services, because we cannot say that because US has removed their fund, we are letting girls' life go wayward. We still need to get the work done. We need to invest in grassroots organizations. There are trillions, over there are trillions of NGOs, but most of them, they lack the systems. Most of them are working in silos. Most of them lack the funding. So at the end of the day, because it's these CSOs that translate these policies into reality. So we need to make sure we are giving them the training. We are establishing a system where they work together. It's not look like everybody is doing things in pieces. At the end of the day, we can't even measure the impact. So we need these things, and we need to put women, young women, youth at the center, right? The young people, we are the bearers of these policies, the laws. We are the ones going to bear them. Because every policy that you make now, you will never see the impact now. The impact is always after either a decade, 5 years. And during those 5 years, a decade, it is the youth who are going to experience it. So when you put the young people and then we are at the center, then we are creating sustainable solutions and not solutions that wouldn't work. So in wrapping up, all that I can say is that the effort towards women empowerment, for most of us here, probably if not the efforts, we wouldn't even be here. Myself, I'm an example. If not the education for movement that got me access to scholarship. I don't even think, because where I grew up from, if I was to look at the culture there, I wasn't supposed to be educated. But it is just through some of these movements that brought me here. The efforts we have really come far. However, currently there are 129 million girls who are out of school globally. Majority of them are in Africa. And with this cutting down of funding, it has been as estimated that 167 million more children are going to go out of school because of the backlash that I've just mentioned. So meaning we need all hands on deck, right? We need everybody, the young people. Do not say that you don't have to do something big, but your voice matters through your work, through your organization, through your advocacy, be writing policies. Let the world know what is on the ground. Let them know that this is what we are going through. And I believe that together we can come up, we can all contribute one way or the other towards it. Like what we are having now, we are creating awareness. What I do with my organization, I am helping still push girls' education through my advocacy, through my voice, my podcast, and all of this. I'm creating awareness. So all of us here have a role to play. If you do your little, somebody does a little, together we are all spreading a message. And, we will all contribute to ensuring that more girls and women are empowered. Thank you very much. I'll pause here. And if you have any question, I can take it. Thank you.
That is amazing. Thank you very much, my sister Joyce. That's been an insightful presentation. I've been amazed all the figures that you gave and the presentation that you gave. I'm just amazed. I don't know how the world will come together to achieve gender equality. You said no country has achieved gender equality as we're speaking now, despite the developed countries that we have. And that is the challenging situation that leaders have to take a look at. So I think there is a question in the chat, so I would like Max to read it out to you so that you attend to it, and I proceed on to the other speakers. Thank you. So Max, can you please read the question out to her?
Oh, okay. Good evening, everyone. Is that Wisdom is asking? I said, what's one thing you will advise women and girls to pursue to be empowered? What's one thing you advise girls and women to pursue to be empowered?
For me, I would say pursue education. Pursue education. And education, I don't mean the formal. If you get formal education is good. Both the formal, informal, all forms of education. Because education is the key to everything. Education gives you knowledge. Education, open your eyes to so many things. So for me, to every girl, pursue your education. Through your education, you find your purpose. Through your education, you can do any other thing. So for me, I would recommend education for every girl.
That is great. Thank you very much, my sister Joyce. We really appreciate you. And of course, I'll surely be in touch. So let me now proceed to
Wisdom.
This is our second
minute. Miss Marilla made a suggestion at the bottom. I think
okay.
I don't know who exactly she directed that question to, but I think the last sentence of her statement was she would like to know how she can help, like in general, apart from Wisdom question on advising what in general women should do, what we individually, as we all are gathered here, what So here I'm just directing it to all of us. She's asking what she can do, in essence, we can do to actually also help speed this up.
Okay, so I've read Miss I think it's Ima Willa. I would be
Yes,
grateful if
please.
you could reach out to me on LinkedIn, Joyce Atta. I can also send my email. We can have more conversation on that because there is so much that you can do to help Ghana, Africa. I'm sending my email 392@gmail.com. We can have an extensive conversation on how you can contribute. But definitely your resources, your knowledge, you can contribute with your knowledge, your resources. It can be in kind. Every other thing, there is so much that you can do. So probably we come back. Yeah.
That's great. That's great. Thank you very much. So without much ado, I would like to. I'm sure that is all right.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Okay. So I would like to invite our next amazing speaker, who is Fabiola Thomas. She is the global director for Caribbean and Central American at SD Connect Haiti. She's also a delegate for the Commission on the Status of Women 70. So and other, she held other amazing positions, which I'm sure she will actually pinpoint or she will mention on when she's presenting. So I would like to invite her. So welcome, Fabiola Thomas. The floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Wisdom, for the invitation. Thanks to everyone to be here. And thank you, Joy, for an amazing presentation. You touch out a lot what's going on out there. So I feel kind of like I don't have to say a lot of stuff, to be honest, because she said a lot of stuff, which is very meaningful and helpful. Thank you. First, it is an honor and deep responsibility to be a part of this important conversation, which is for international commitment to local actions, advance women access to justice after CSW70. As a young woman, diplomat, and advocate of human rights, I stood at the intersection of global dialogue and local reality. I carry not only my personal experience, but also the voice of women and communities who access to justice remain limited. I had the privilege of participating on the Commission of Statute of Women at the United Nations, where I witnessed firsthand the power of international commitment to advance women's rights. The discussion was ambitious, the intention were clear, and the urgent was undeniable. To be honest, beyond the UN, I also attend several women at that time focus meeting, including like Commonwealth, even dedicated to advocacy, gender equality, where I learned from leader and advocate about strategy to turn commitment into actions. This experience reinforced the importance of collaboration and local leadership and ensuring justice for women. In addition, as my role as a global director of Latin American and Caribbean Island at SDG Youth Connect, I work closely with youth and community leaders to amplify women's voice, document challenge, and implement solutions to local reality. This allow me to see firsthand how international commitment can translate into real measurement impact on the ground. And this brings us directly to today's discussions. Do we move from international commitment to meaningful local actions? For millions of women around the world, justice still not accessible, and often is not due lack of law, but because systematic barrier like economy, social, and culture prevent women from exercising their rights. We must be honest, there's still a gap between global community and local realities. Closing that gap requires more than words, it requires bold, standing actions. As a young woman from Haiti, I have seen our structural inequality prevent women from accessing justice long before they reach formal institutions. I remember meeting a young mother in my community who had suffered domestic violence for years. She knows her right, but she has no resources, no safe way to access justice. Seeing her struggle remind that law on paper are meaningful without practical access for those who need them most. I have worked with youth advocates in Caribbean who are creating safe reporting network for women in rural community, providing legal guidance and counseling and emergency support. These initiatives show that small local driving solution can have life changes impact, but they need support, recognition, and scaling. So, how do we bridge this gap after CSW70? First, we must ensure that justice system are accessible and inclusive, simplify legal procedure, remove financial barrier, and extending service to both urban and rural community is essential. Second, we must build trust in institutions. Law and are not enough. Institution must protect it, not intimidate it. Listen, not silence. Gender sensitive training, transparent, and accountability are the key to ensure women feel support and safe. Third, we must implement survivor center approaches. Justice must empower, not re traumatize. Women must feel heard, respect, and protect through the process. And also, local community based solutions are crucial across Latin American and Caribbean through STG Youth. I have seen our grassroots organization in youth leadership bridge the gap between policy and reality. One example was a mentorship program connecting one woman with local legal experts to navigate case of gender-based violence. This initiative changed life, giving women hope and access. The preview like. And the last one, we must recognize the power of youth leadership. Young people are not waiting for change, we're actively changing. From advocate campaign to community project, youth are entering that promise made international forum translate into meaningful results. And also, but on this success without accountability, after CSW, we must track progress, measure outcome, and ensure that commitment are not left on paper. We must continuously ask, what has changed for women on the ground? We still lack access to justice, and what we are doing differently to close this gap. Access to justice is not just a principle, it is a fundamental right. It is about women being able to speak without fear. It's about protection, dignity, and empowerment. It's about ensuring that justice is not privilege, but reality at all. Another moment that kept me deeply reflecting was seeing the United Nations remove itself from the UN women. We've seen such decision underscore how fragile progress can be when countries step back from international commitment. It reinforced me that advances women access to justice require consistent engagement and accountability from all global actors. And the absence of leadership from even one nation can have ripple effect on local reality, to be honest. This made my interaction why I like the Ministry of Belgium, even I meet. I have that's really impact me see a man sit on the seat as a Ministry of Women. That's made interaction alive the ministry even more meaningful. The need of leadership are willing to step up, act and champion women right without hesitation. So basically, because justice is delayed, denied, and accessible is not justice at all. Every woman who is silenced, every voice that's ignoring, every lie left unprotected. These are failures we cannot accept. Church justice demand action and courage, commitment from all. And thank you. Thank you so much. And basically, I will talk a little bit about my experience. As Joyce said, it was very challenging, be a young diplomat. Policy take really time, which is that's a concern a lot when we're fighting for something. We have to be patient and sharing up as much we're sharing up every year as I usually do on the UN and try to push policy, remind them about human rights because we believe without education we cannot do that. As they ask the questions, Joy was respond because I believe for women to have more confidence, especially on my fields, be a young diplomat, we've been underestimated by men when we sit at the table at the UN because our gender. But with education and confidence, leadership and mentor, we can fight as a woman. Thank you.
That is amazing. That is a very insightful presentation, my sister Fabiola. I really appreciate you. Okay, Okay. I think Max will read. Someone has put something in the chat, and Max will read it out. But I would like to ask you just one question. I know you've been to various platforms of which and just as you shared that women have been looked down upon and all that. But then looking at the educational gap and especially comparing the international community to this like for our local community, how can you bridge that gap, the gap that you spoke about, that there is that huge gap? How can you bridge that gap to have more women in this to take absolute control of great organizations, like something like that? How can you, the example that we are going to elect new secretary general for the UN, what should you do, or what will you require youth around the world, especially women, to do, so that those who will be elected, who are going to vote, will actually be have it at the back of their mind that, hey, let's go out there to champion the cause for that woman, so that when she reaches there, she'll be able to help us, for us to also be able to be fit well into society and not be looked down upon. What will be that one thing that you require to be done? Thank you.
Okay, so we just asked what is the best way to get involved, more women to vote. So because like I think they were working toward a woman to be the Secretary General for United Nations. That's an example. So I would say like every woman, something I learned, leadership is not, nobody will give it to you. You have to take it. What I mean by that, yesterday I was in a meeting debating about that. So as a woman, we need to put ourselves out there more, and start to think about issue in your community. To bring solution as a civil society, so you and recognize you a lot. They literally give you pass to sit down in the seat and talk behalf of your community. By focus and audit SDG, Sustainable Development Goal, no one, and master as education, gender equality, and bring solution to your community would be help you to step in more in that, and even advocacy for your white, like anything you feel like is being violated in your country. So we need more women at the table, because women build community. We can see that our leadership start from our family, right? From our womb, be a mother, be a wife, and we work on those walls. I believe we can be a great pieces at the table at the from policy and diplomacy and even advocacy. So I recommend each woman on this live, if you don't have a platform, especially we're the generation who have more tools, to be honest. So use your social media wisely. You can make so many impact by create impact for women, gender equality, education, encourage more women go to school, and others. We have climate, we have so many issues going on right now on the wall, like, and also following your model, get mentor, because with your education you get mentor, you've been training so well, you can stand on the gap and help others and to feel that in our community. We need more leader, women supposed to be leader. We need more to them at the table, and I love to see them, because when I work in the womb, see them, that gives me strength, because I know the fight is not only me. We fight, we put together, come together as a woman is the most powerful way we can do for our community. Let's think about other we don't have a voice. If you have a privilege to use your voice to stand to talk for them, please do it. Don't take it as a granted if you have that privilege. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, my sister. That's been a great answer that I'm sure our dear women and girls who actually pick all what you shared with them, that they should try and have a mentor, and use and make use of the social media. They should make use of it wisely. Thank you very much, Max. I think there's something in the chat. If maybe you read it out to her before I sit down with the other speakers. Thank you.
Yeah. Ms. Fibila, thank you very much for your presentation. Ms. Wheeler wanted to know if you could share some of your stories of gender injustice. She wanted us all to actually just hear, for the time's sake, I think if you can share maybe one or two, so that we can all know what you've been through, so that we know the traumas that people are actually going through. So she's asking if you can actually share a story or two of some of the injustice that you've been through.
We say Injustice from Haiti. To be honest, I would say like I was raised in a privileged place in Haiti. To be honest, go to private school, but the thing I would go to trauma, I would say, is not really about gender equality when I was in Haiti. It's about insecurity. Growing up, when I go to school, I usually have like every time like come back from school, they always have like gun violence on the street. On gunshots. So most of the time, I have to lie on the floor, literally to protect myself. And basically, I remember it was really tremendous, like those experience. And I was like sitting down at home, and I was 14, and I was talking to my parents. Something I don't even want to go to school because I feel like my life was threatening, which is very traumatized me. And I say to my mom, what can I do? Because that situation cannot be right. Because in the country, we cannot even be safe to go to school. You can get raped in school right now. What's going on in Haiti? The gang can get inside your the school and get shooting, raping women on your way home. I see a lot of story. That's why give me strength and like to step in for Haiti. And at that moment, and I say to myself, what can I do? And my mom was telling me, every change have to start from you. And at that moment, and I was thinking, I have to go to politics. I continue and fight for my high school, even it wasn't easy, but I have to. And then after I left Haiti, so I moved to the U.S. and I pursue a bachelor in international relations diplomacy. And I say the privilege I have, all the women don't have in Haiti, so I need to use my voice for them and stand on the gap for my community. If it's not me, who else? So and I went and then went to study in Paris and build myself as much for the past of 6 years, and then I can step in the UN and I say Haiti need a voice in that seat, because most of the time I feel kind of like we're missing women at that time, and especially in Haiti, our government is more men. We don't really have a lot of women who occupy some seats to fight for us. So that's why inspired me. To be honest, and another challenge I found for gender equality, I see, is in the U.S. as a diplomat, young diplomat, as a woman in the UN. Some country like the Middle Eastern men don't want to accept you as a woman in politics. They don't want that. You have to fight in a woman. You have to raise your voice to make them listen to you. Even you educated, sometimes they make you feel you're not capable. Sometimes they make you feel you not belong to be in that room. So, and I have to say to myself, I know who I am, and I have that confidence when I work in that home. I raise my voice respectfully for them to listen, to hear what I have to say, what is supposed to be working on. So I've been fighting, and I will not give up. And I want more women to be in my ally and aside to fight for that, because as we can see, the U.S. is withdraw from UN Women, which is the bigger funding for women. So, and I ask myself, what's going on right here? So it is then I care about women in this country. What's going on with the United States, like being job from UN Women, which is a bigger platform, bigger funding will help education for women and all over the world. That's questionable, because this is unacceptable, to be honest. I was frustrated when I work in that woman. I heard about it, because they know if we're not educated, we're gonna come like be back in the day where women stay at home, just take care of children. That's, for me, this is what I see and that's something we've been fighting for years and years, which is very, very, very unacceptable, to be honest, and make me so frustrated and keep asking those questions and again. And literally, I will say the fight is not only for you guys, it's for all our women in the world. So it's time for us to come together, use our voice, use your privilege, and then stand for other women. There is no competition with women, to be honest, because all you compare with your gender, that doesn't make sense. I always say, put it in your mind, compare to yourself. That's mean, make yourself better, build yourself stronger to stand on the gap for others. Thank you.
That is great. That is great. That is great. That is great. Thank you very much for sharing. I like how you concluded that it is time for us all to come together to fix this issue all around the world. And we really appreciate it. I know that with you, we give you the whole day, you can share. You have more stories to share. And I know you are that world ambassador for Haiti, right? And also FIFA New York. Are you a volunteer? Like, I'm sure you have certain thing that you are doing also, and I'm just trying to urge you that just as you share and you try to, give women opportunity when, for example, with the voluntary aspect of things that you are doing for FIFA and all that, you try to, give them much more opportunities so that we see much more women there. Thank you very much, my sister. I really appreciate your time and your insightful presentation.
Well, thank you so much. So basically, talking about FIFA, I think like I try to break that gap. They think like women not belong to be in soccer stuff, and I was like, let me step in FIFA, which is I get the position for management engagement city host for FIFA for New York City. Then I try like to fit women everywhere. So because I learned your mind is your limit. Where you put your mind, the limit you put it, that's where you're gonna go. And always don't give your mind a limit because you'll be stuck right there at the level where you see yourself. But if you can see yourself, you go further, you can break the gap. And the more you open other door as a woman is open door for others behind you. Make stuff easy to them. Thank you so much for having me. It's such an honor to be here. Thank you.
That is great. That is fantastic. We really appreciate you. Thank you very much. So, we're because of time, so we have much ado. I'd like to invite the next speaker, who is maybe Rahina to Al Hassan. She is the University of Cape Coast SRC Women's Commissioner. So, my sister Rahina, too. Please, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Wisdom, and thank you very much to all other speakers. I mean, I'm very grateful. I'm honored for the opportunity to be a part of this very intellectual discourse. I would have said, as a law student, I would have said I have nothing useful to add to all that have been said. But I think in the interest of women, in the interest of equity, what I would necessarily say is that we've come too far. As much as we try to recognize the lapses in our fight for women empowerment, in our fight for equality, in our fight for social justice, it's just fair that we pause a while to think about the fact that we've come too far as a people. Now we have women parliamentarians. Now we do have the Vice President of the Republic of Ghana being a woman. It tells us that there is a possibility, there is a chance, there is actually a way to it. There are just oppositions because before something significant happens in the life of anybody, you must have taken a decision that unsettles you. You might have taken a decision that is very uncomfortable. You must have fought the odds. And that is when feminism comes inside. I think as much as we want to internalize or maybe externalize the conversation to thinking that we're fighting for equality, we're fighting for social justice, we must as people, we must as women position ourselves. Because I'll tell you for a fact, there are men willing, ready to give women the opportunity, to give women the necessity to represent. For example, Wisdom, your good self is an example. I do have a couple of people, men trying to do, but how well positioned is a woman? How well positioned is the woman in the first place? So I think that we are in a course in the right direction. We have to hold our surge on. We have to keep our heads high. We have to also know that the concept of feminism is one that we need to get through the minds of our younger ones. They must get it. Primary JHS, they must get it from the onset. Because the moment they transition from SHS to the university, we are already fighting a lost battle. Because now people do not even know the meaning of feminism. People think feminism is basically unsettling a man to settle the woman. No, but it's just about equal representation. But if we start early, if we start to make the person conscious about the fact that, no, we are seeking opportunity for you to go to school. We are seeking a representation for you. We are seeking dignity for you in your period. And we are making sure that the world knows that you also bring something to the table or you matter. If we make them aware about these things from the onset, we wouldn't be struggling to get it, to get them absorbed in the concept of social justice. Because believe you me, this is a time for us to be awakened. This is a generation for us to be awakened. The earlier speaker made mention that social media is a very dangerous tool, and we could certainly use that to our advantage. But ask yourself, we have young women on the internet just misusing the opportunity that they've been given. It begs the call that who orients them, who is in charge, who is behind, who has fed them with a particular information. Because as people, everybody knows how powerful women can be when we are disposed to information. Everyone knows it, that it is just information that a woman needs. And when the woman gets hold of that information, they can be powerful beyond measure. And so for you to get access to information, for you to get access to concrete and tangible information to work with, you must have been well positioned. My sister also made mention that leadership is not something that you are given, you pursue it. How about we start from the onset, letting our young ones know? Because already those that are in the university, those that are in the tertiary education, they feel that they are settled already. They feel that they've lost it already. They feel that the time has gone past them. As much as I believe it's not true and something can be done about it, I just hold a firm conviction that we also have a homework somewhere to make sure that the little ones that are coming are given a notion and a framework that this is it. As a woman, the world is already leading you at a particular tangent. And because the world is leading you at a particular tangent, you need to be well grounded. You need to be well positioned. You need to be disciplined. You need to pursue the real you. You need to redefine yourself into the caliber of human being you want to address. So first of all, I want to also thank everyone here who is in one way or the other in their very small ways waking up every day, showing up and making contributions towards social justice, to equity. As a law student, I believe that equity is not given to equity does not aid the vigilant. And when we come to equity, you must come with clean hands. What is the clean hands I'm talking about? You must be well positioned. You must pursue leadership. You must show up. Just because you are a woman doesn't mean that you should be given the table at the Parliament House. When we give you that table at the Parliament House, what are you going to do with it? That matters more than we giving you the opportunity to come. It matters more than we just saying, for example, the Affirmative Action Bill of Ghana, where it says that the percentage of women should be given space in leadership, in politics, in all of those things. That is not what necessarily matters. What matters is that what do you do when those chances are given to you? How many females do you also bring on board? How many people do you unsettle? Let's shift the conversation from rubbing shoulders with men, because when we do that, it's already a lost battle. Let's ground the conversation into redefining us, into giving us our purpose, into making sure that we wake up one day and the dawn of the cockroach is to the effect that women have a representation, women have dignity in their periods, and decisions or the voices of women matter. I thank you very much for the opportunity to talk to you, and I do hope that you have a wonderful one.
Thank you very much, Arina. That is an amazing presentation. Just one thing I would like to ask you, that you said many women they have to try to bring other women on board. Here comes the case. We have one adage that you've been saying that women are their own enemies. How that kind of, how should we be able to conscientize them so that kind of mindset they will do away with this, so that women will try to just as the men has been doing. What is the one thing that we should remove that barrier so that women will open themselves, like they open up themselves to make sure that they will push other women to actually pursue whatever that they want to pursue in life? What should be that one push, that that one thing that should be a drive for them, without looking back at what's happening in our society?
All right, wisdom. I might tell a joke to you, but I will never lie to you. I'll tell a joke to you several times, but I wouldn't really necessarily lie to you. What I mean is that there is an iota of truth to the general saying that women are their own enemies. I'm going to address this issue in two parts. The iota of the truth is that, for me, I've been in leadership from primary up to now. I've been school prefect, I've been president of associations, speaker of parliament, and all of that, to the present position that I hold. I tell you for a fact, and heaven bears me witness, that the real people that showed up to help me were men. Were men. Not because women were not capacitated enough as at that time to help me, but because those that were there saw me as a competition. Saw me as somebody who, if given the chance, will unsettle them. So that is why people gradually, consciously created the adage or created the saying that women are their own enemies. But I would also be biased if I say that there were no women that also gave me encouragement. There were actually women that also say, oh, Rahina, you could do it, go ahead. But there were men that didn't just stop at the words. When they gave me their words, they made sure they walked through the journey with me. I have several mentor in politics and all of that. And I tell you, a large number of them are men. My mentors are men. Why? Because the man is willing to open up enough than a woman, some women, let me put it that way, would want to gatekeep, would see the other woman as a competition. And I think that is where we as women and women commissioners and all, we need to reorient our people into understanding that every generation has a messiah. Every generation has a messiah. So let's say in my year badge or in my year group, I am the messiah. Wisdom, at your year badge or your year group, you will be their messiah. And the sky is just too big enough for us to fly high. The sky is too big to contain. No matter how crowded the fishes are in the sea, have you ever seen a fish outside that the place is crowded so he cannot stay? No, we can all be there. So we need to, as we push the conversations of gender equality, social justice, and we need to orient our people into understanding that the core mandate of our existence as women is that you climb a tree and you are able to hold Amma Kofi to also see what is on top. And not that always you tell them what is one phenomenal woman that I admire, that's the mentor and a lot of people admire, is Joyce Bauer. If you watch Joyce Bauer Muktari, that is the presidential aide to the president, Mama. Auntie Joyce will not gatekeep. If she's going to help you, she's going to tell you, she's going to help you. If she cannot do it, she's going to say, I am not capacitated to do. And that is the honesty we need to afford each other as people. But there are also women out there that are doing insanely amazing. They don't see you as a competition. You come to them, they give you information. You come to them, they give you resources. You come to them, they tell you how to be well-grounded, how to position yourself, how to pursue you. But as far as I have come, I owe my credence to strangers. I owe my credence to a larger number of men than women I can think of. You see, so it's not that the statement is entirely false, no. But it cannot also be the entire truth. Sometimes there could just be miscommunication. I'm trying to help somebody, but the language, the diction with which I'm using, the person feels that, no, I'm not trying, you are not trying to help me. You are rather trying to frustrate the process. So, yes, that statement, women are their own enemy, it may be true or it may not be true, but I have had my fair share of the circumstances, and I hold the view that there's an iota of truth to it. And because there's an iota of truth, we need to reorient ourselves into knowing that the battle is not between ourselves. It's never. Justice for women is never between a woman and a woman. It's always between a woman and the other sex. So we must stop fighting a battle that does not exist in the first place and chance on the social justice, the equity. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, my sister. That's been a fantastic, powerful presentation. Such a one. Well, Max, please, do you have is there something in the chat that we like to share? I mean, she said a lot, which I've written a lot. I just don't know what to say. Thank you very much, my sister. We really appreciate your time. Max, is there something that you would like to read out to her?
No, please. No questions at the moment.
Oh, okay. That is great. So thank you very much for actually cutting short. Maybe who is the KNUST SRC local news commissioner just said me that she's in. So let's give her a few minutes to actually share whatever that she has for us to. Then we bring the meeting to an end. Thank you very much, Max, and welcome, my sister. Mavis, any KNUST SRC local news commissioner. Please, the floor is yours. Thank you. Hi.
Okay. So, hello everyone. A very good evening to us all. I would like to first of all say thank you for this opportunity. As I told you earlier, something impromptu came up, so this I had to sort of steal myself from what we are doing and then come here. I followed the conversation, and I must say I'm very impressed because this shows that we have powerful women and that the future is bright. I enjoyed the submissions, and I would just like to add one thing to it. When Miss Rahina was talking, she mentioned the fact that there are some women who support women when they get to, the top. So I just want to touch on women supporting women, because I feel it's one of the ways that we can easily get there. As women, already the system is sort of biased against us. It's now that women empowerment and shouting here and there has gained some of us momentum and a bit of leverage. But ideally or overall, women are sometimes at a disadvantage. And the nice thing or the best thing will be if your fellow woman is willing to put you there or is willing to put you on. Because as she mentioned, most of the time it was men that came through for her. I had the same experience from primary, SHS, JHS. I was also a student leader. And it would be amazing to know that it's your fellow woman that would go behind you to, say things about you, just ruin your reputation. And it's amazing. Running for SRC Women's Commissioner, my most support system were men. That's the honest truth. My core team members were 4 strong men. So this tells you that as women, we have a lot of work to do on ourselves. I don't know if it's from jealousy or lack of knowledge. I just don't get it. But I just want to touch on the fact that we should support ourselves more often. When the opportunities, we should try and reach out. Because in the end, a man would most of the time pick a fellow man over a woman unless he's getting something from you. It's not always the case though, but most times it is, especially if you're a woman and you want to get up there. So I would just like to plead that there are a few of us that's already up. Let's try our very best to pull our sisters along so that a woman wouldn't have to go through so much that she can't even voice it out. Because in the end, she did something together, so she can't really tell you, or she can just tell you that, oh, keep pushing, keep going. And that's it. Please, let's support one another. Let's lift one another up. That is why there are lots of men in a lot of spaces, because in the end, they will pick their fellow gender over you. So at least for some time, let's try to support ourselves. Let's try to be there for one another, because it is what will help us get into these spaces that we are craving for, these global spaces. It will baffle you that you enter a global space and you just find 2 or 3 women there. You ask yourself, what happened? Is that they didn't inform the fellow woman of the opportunity? And even if you're going to ask them, they will tell you that, oh, it was a man that linked them. This is sad. So let's support one another as much as possible, especially as we are in International Women's Month. Let's support one another. Let's be each other's keepers. And I believe that if we start from there,
and this
we'll go a long way.
I mean, who has been emotionally, mentally beaten, battered, frustrated, mistreated, or neglected.
Hello, Raina.
Hello.
Hello, my sister Raina too.
Yeah, sorry.
Don't worry, that's fine.
Yeah, so I think I will end my submission here. I've enjoyed every bit of the conversation, and I'm glad that I was invited to share my little knowledge. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mavis. That has been a great contribution. I think with regards to this, Dr. Elizabeth would like to add something. She's also a medical doctor, and just as I said, medical doctor, and she's also one of the board members for our organization, the White Star. So, Dr. Elizabeth, can you please unmute yourself?
No, Wisdom. Thank you very much. I'm happy to be able to join one of your programs finally. Today I was able to close early, and I saw that I was on time, so I just decided to join in and listen to the amazing women you've brought on board. And I must say that the discussion has been so promising. I've been very happy listening from Joyce to Fabiola to the 3 women's commissioners. I've been so happy. So thank you very much, first of all, for organizing this. I'm glad that you personally has been one person that has been championing the cause for women. So you are one man that I really, really like, and I'm happy that we have somebody like you on board, always coming in to champion our agenda for us. So, like Wisdom said, my name is Dr. Elizabeth, and I'm a medical doctor, but Dublin, as a women's advocate on the side, I like to help with anything women. If you look for me, I'm there. I'm happy to always do that. So the reason I raised my hand was because as the discussion was ongoing, I think that I heard it was Miss Rahina when she started making the point about sometimes women being our own enemies. And then I heard another person as well, I didn't catch the name, talking about how sometimes women in the workplace or when women become leaders, it's like their attitude were a bit harsher towards the male or gender, and he's not quite sure whether it's because we feel threatened or not. And I just wanted to chip in a few of my thoughts or how I feel about the whole conversation in that aspect in general. So what I have come to know is that in terms of the women not supporting women agenda, I usually am a bit skeptical when we make such overgeneralizations. I am not very happy when I hear that, because I like to think that in every place, be it the workplace, the community, the society, human beings generally, you will find the ones who are for you and then the ones who are not for you. We may not hear it often, but it will surprise you to know that there are men who don't support men. And that is actually not a statement. Nobody ever makes that blanket statement. But when you speak to men, some men in big positions, they'll tell you how they got this contract deal and it was their fellow brother who shortchanged them or cut corners to go and take the deal over them. Men who cut corners to go and take their best friend's girl. They know that my friend likes this girl. They will go and cut corners and they'll go and take the girl. But you will never hear that statement that men are their own enemies or men don't support each other. No. But immediately it switches, then it becomes a gender thing. That if a woman does anything to sort of cut you off from going to the next step, then it means that women are their own enemies. I don't believe in that thing. I don't think that it is so. It's just that when it comes to human behavior, human beings are prone to envy, jealousy, and there are some people, for lack of better words, maybe they grew up with poor training in an environment that made them feel like the room or the sky was not big enough for everyone. Whenever you are going forward, it seems like an indictment on they themselves. And so whichever environment they find themselves in, they will try to bring you down. And it doesn't matter whether it's a fellow woman or not. They won't look at it from the lens that you are looking at, that, oh, I'm a woman leader, let me bring in my fellow woman. It's like, since I have gotten this position, let me only push myself. And then it's also sad for us because as women, we're already few. And so one would expect that with a few of us in such positions, it's only right or it's only fair to assume that as a young woman, when you are coming up, you are looking up to that woman, because already it's the norm that you find 15 men in the room and 2 women. And so if I'm a young woman and I'm coming up and I see this woman, I'm like, oh, this woman is my mentor. And then what happens is then that they approach these women and then they don't get the help they receive, and it becomes that notion. But I want to say that I don't think it's a gender thing. It's just a human thing that you will find human beings who will support you at one point, and then there are human beings who may not support you, and it doesn't have to do with the gender. You will find very supportive men like you, Wisdom. There's nothing that I have done that you have not supported up until this point. And I equally have some amazing women who have also supported me too. The same way, I've had the opposite. Men who don't care, they won't push the agenda for you. And I've seen and I've had experiences with women as well. And so that was what I wanted us to just be very sure on, because sometimes when we make such blanket statement, it pushes the whole conversation to another direction. And then the part about the person who had experiences with women leaders being harsher, I do not want to invalidate his experience. Like, I agree. Even when I was growing up, I had a headmistress that I did not like at all. And I thought, no, I prefer headmaster to headmistress because this headmistress is too wicked. But then, like he said, it could be a defense thing, because sometimes you have women being in position. I am a medical doctor. I cannot tell you the number of times that patients come to the hospital and I'm telling them that I'm the doctor and they're still looking around. They want somebody with muscles and yes, they can't understand and they are waiting for the real doctor. Sometimes they ask you, are you the real doctor? Are you the one coming to take care of me? And I'm sitting there and I'm looking at them. And so if you've had, as a woman, if you've had such experiences, the next man that walks in, it's only fair that you strong your face because you're tired of the disrespect. I'm not saying that women should be harsher. And then we have this whole notion of expecting likability and niceness from women as a duty, as opposed to, you have some men, it's like men have been granted the right to be arrogant. They'll go into an institution, once the boss is a man and he can be aggressive and he can be arrogant and he can be anything, but yes, our boss, everybody will follow. But once they come in and they see a woman, automatically, it's like your mind will tune to expect some motherly nature, but not everybody is like that. It's the same way that you can meet some very arrogant man. Be open in your mind that you can go into somewhere and meet a very arrogant woman. The opposite is also true. You go and meet a very calm man somewhere and you meet a very calm woman. It doesn't have to be a gender thing that is the women that are harsher. They are not harsher. It's a human behavior. If that's how the person is, then that's what you see. And if you don't like it, you bring it up with them. So I just wanted to quickly chip in that, But aside overall fantastic conversation, I'm very happy that I was able to join it. Thank you to all the speakers who came to speak. Thank you very much.
Oh, great. Thank you very much, Dr. Elizabeth. I know that this is the topic, so you are so passionate about it. So while presenting, I'll just reminding the things that we've been actually saying about women empowerment and all that, it will just coming to mind. And I know that this is a topic, and together we'll help, champion women empowerment all over. Thank you very much, Dr. Liz. I really appreciate you. I would like to thank everyone who joined to make this webinar a great one, especially to my amazing presenters. They are actually five. Yeah, they are actually five. There is only one person who is not able to speak. She's currently writing exam, so I praise her to come out successfully. Her name is Yasmin Yamba. Yeah, she's the University of Ghana SRC Women's Commissioner. So she's currently writing some exams, so she wasn't able to join us. So I just want to thank you, the amazing speakers that we have, and also everyone who joined, contributed to make this webinar successful. However, we have more greater one coming, of which when you check our website, then the Wise Touch, you get to see everything that we do. And one of our key things is education, women and children development. That is why we organized this webinar, to help champion women empowerment. So we have other things that we will do to, help women and children to actually fit well into the society, so that norm of men's supremacy, that's one thing that for me, I want to actually do out with in our society, especially with this Sub-Saharan Africa. We try to always, though yes, it is true that men and women, there should be some sort of culture. This is from cultural stuff that we have, that women's supremacy and all that. But then I just don't want to go deep into that. But then I am also trying to champion women empowerment, so that we see women in great positions to help transform the world. And I believe that when women are in positions, our society is peace. There's and I would like to say that we've covered everything on the agenda. So my co-founder has already speaking. I think there's nothing much more to share. And then to our website, we'll be sharing the recording to as well. So you go there, you can get in touch with us to have any conversations and all that. So thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Enjoy your day. Bye.